Colossians 4. So it pretty much continues. The previous chapter finished mentioning the servants, slaves. Now it talks about masters. Masters, give your servants what is righteous and fair, knowing that you also have a master in the heavens. Right? So this is key because those who are masters believe that they don't have to answer to anybody. Everybody will answer to somebody. So those who have somebody on this earth to whom they have to answer, then they should act like if they are serving the Almighty Himself. And those who are free in this reality and are leaders of many should recognize that there is one above them. So, masters, give your servants what is righteous and fair. This is important, I repeat, because slavery is seen as evil, mainly because no master would do what was righteous and fair because they didn't recognize Yahweh. In fact, when it comes to slavery in the United States, they made Bibles in which they took everything out that had to do with freedom and well, what we actually need, and left everything that could be misinterpreted for slaves to think they had to be slaves and pretty much end up worshiping their masters. So, knowing that you also have a sovereign in the heavens, continue in prayer, watching therein with thanksgiving. So important that our prayer has thanksgiving, because if not, then what are we praying for? If we don't recognize everything that He's given us so far, why are we asking for more? If we cannot see what we have, why are you asking for more? Or are you just complaining, not seeing what you already have? So which we should know that when we pray, we will receive. And that's why we need to give thanks. Watching therein, continue in prayer, watching therein with thanksgiving. Praying at the same time also for us, that Yahweh would open to us a door for the word to speak the secret of Mashiach, for which I am also in chains. So praying at the same time also for us. So we should pray for each other. Praying at the same time also for us, that Yahweh would open to us a door for the word to speak the secret of Mashiach, for which I am also in chains, so that I make it clear as I should speak. Walk in wisdom toward those who are outside. This is part of what we were talking about with the question from Celio. Walk in wisdom toward those who are outside, redeeming the time. We need to be wise regarding how we act with those who are outside, because they don't understand, because they cannot see truly, and also to be a good example for them so that they want to have what we have received from the Father: salvation, redemption. Let your word always be with favor. This is important, and it is hard, at least for some, because of the flesh. We need to be careful how we talk. We need to show favor in everything that we say. Pretty much let love come through with each word. Let your word always be with favor, seasoned with salt. Right? We need to, when we speak, we need to be careful to put salt in it, which is wisdom. Use wisdom when choosing words, putting them together with the good tone, so that it is of a good flavor for those who hear it. Right? They will want to hear more. They will want to hear you. They will want to listen. They will want to act for whatever you may need or whatever, just because you added favor. You need a favor, add favor to the words you use. So let your word always be with favor, seasoned with salt, so that you know how you ought to answer each one, right? Obviously, mainly in the spiritual sense of when they ask what you believe in, when they ask why you speak like you speak, why you don't do this or that. So you need to add favor to what you're going to say so that they don't feel like you are pushing something on them or that you are condemning them for what they do, which you don't, but instead use favor so that they get to understand it by seasoning with salt, which is wisdom, so that you know how you ought to answer each one. Each one. So depending on who you're talking to, how you need to answer to that person. Depending on who you're talking to, what that person needs to hear, how they should hear it. So you should use salt, wisdom, in order to know. For instance, like a chef would see a person, hear a person, and then realize what that person likes and therefore what he can cook for him. His name, Tukikos, or something like that. Um, Tukikos, who is a beloved brother, a true servant, and a fellow servant in the sovereign, shall give you all the news about me. All the news about me. So Tychicus, faithful, faithful. It's interesting that the last one, the when it's like Moshe comes as a faithful servant, faithful witness. And now Paul, and as we know, the last is represented by Paul. So now he's saying Tukikos or Tychicos, according to the concordance, who is a beloved brother, beloved like the meaning of David, a true servant, and a fellow servant in the sovereign shall give you all the news about me. I am sending him to you for this purpose, to know your circumstances and to encourage your hearts. With Onesimus, a true and beloved brother, who is one of you, they shall let you know all the news here. They, as in two of them, as in the two witnesses, for instance. It's kind of about to mention another one, but who is a fellow prisoner. Let me see the name, Onesimus, suitable or useful, who happened to be a servant. So with Onesimus, a true and beloved brother who is one of you, they shall let you know all the news here. Aristarchus, my fellow prisoner, greets you, with Marcos, the relative of Barnabas, about whom you received instructions. If he comes to you, welcome him. Also, Yeshua, who is called Justus. These are my only fellow workers for the reign of Yahweh, who are of the circumcision, who were to me a comfort. So they were the only Yahudim, right, of the circumcision. They were the only Yahudim who actually helped him. Tukikos, Onesimus, Aristarchus, Barnabas, if we include, well, no, Marcus, and Yeshua. 5. The number 5 represents favor, revelation, and he's mentioning how he received favor through these 5 men. Then he says, Epaphras, who is one of you, a servant of Mashiach, greets you, always wrestling for you in prayers, so that you stand perfect and complete in all the desire of Elohim. Wrestling for you in prayers, right? Because sometimes we must wrestle the flesh, the inclination to evil, to be able to concentrate when praying, because we are in a spiritual war and the enemy doesn't want us to pray or to seek the Father, so that you stand perfect and complete in all the desire of Yahweh. For I bear him witness that he has a deep concern for you and for those who are in Laodicea and those in Hierapolis or Hierapolis. So, for I bear him witness that he has deep concern for you and for those who are in Laodicea. Remember that Laodicea is the last congregation mentioned in the 7 congregations of Asia in Revelation 3. This is the city of a false goddess, plus Laodicea, which represents the last doctrine, the one that has to do with the prosperity, one that would be pretty much all over the place during the end times. Laodicea means the justice of the people. Then we have the city, the sacred city, turning to, like I said, false deity, as they would say. For I bear witness that he has a deep concern for you and for those who are in the justice of the people in the set apart city. In the spiritual sense, the positive sense, Laodicea will represent the many, and Hierapolis or Hierapolis, the few. Lucas, the beloved physician, and Demas greet you. Greet the brothers in Laodicea and Nympha in the assembly that is in his house. Once again, we see how they would congregate in houses, and that would be enough, good. However, it's not enough for a lot of people nowadays who, because of the flesh, are seeking congregations that gather in luxury buildings that cost hundreds of thousands, and that is the only way that they think that the spirit will dwell within. Nymphas means bridegroom. Greet the brothers in the justice of the people, and the bridegroom and the assembly that is in his house, in the house of the bridegroom. As in, greet the brothers who are within the many, and the Messiah who is in the congregation. And when this letter is read among you, see that it is read also in the assembly of the Laodiceans, and that you likewise read the letter from Laodicea. The letter from Paul to the Laodiceans. I have it. I think I have it, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, it's not in the scriptures. They either took it out or never put it in. In case you guys want to read it at some point, but we have much to read first. And say to Archippos, see to the service which you have received in the sovereign, so that you complete it. This greeting is in my own hand. Shaul, remember my chains. Favor be with you. Amen. Remember my chains. Favor be with you. Amen. Right? Remember, in order for them to pray. And also the greeting in his own hand, it is said that he would write with huge letters. That what made it obvious that it was him, and also that he had some issues to see. So that's how that chapter ends.